Okay, now I want to talk about keyword targeting. The keyword research is really sort of the crux of any SEO campaign. You have to know what people are typing into search engines. Even if you think you know how people are finding your products, chances are you don't. However you think of your product is sort of an internal thing. The way people who don't know your brand and don't know your company aren't going to think of those ways to search for something that you might have to offer. So you have to do your research. You have to figure out how people are searching for the types of products that you offer. Once you figure that out, you have to do an accurate keyword mapping to your website. So which of these keywords can I use with which of these pages? And making sure that everything relates to one another. And then of course you have to do your content support. And what do I mean by content support? I mean content is anything that you have on the page title and the meta description. Again, going back to that Cold Stone page, this is how it shows up in the search engine. This is your page title, this is your meta description. Again, it's using all of those keyword support systems that are sending those signals to search engines. Body content. This is the content on that page. And you can see ice cream creation shows up several times, not necessarily all together, not necessarily an exact match, but this is what we mean by content support. If this is the keyword you're targeting, then the page has to make sense. This is the image at the top of that page. And first of all, I mean, what a good image. But even within the image coding, we have what we call alt image attributes, right? This is what the Googlebot is going to crawl in order to understand the context of this image. And once again, we have ice cream creations. And of course, if you have any videos, the data that you put behind your video can also support your keyword targets. SEO myth number 3, keyword stuffing is a good idea. Sometimes people, if they want to rank for a certain keyword, they'll just stuff that keyword all over the page. They'll put it in their images. They'll put it in their titles. That's really not a good idea. There was a small period of time when that actually worked, but Google got wind of it and sort of put the nix on it. So you really can't do it anymore. And in fact, if you try to do it, you can probably get penalized. The next thing I want to talk about is quality content. This is kind of a vague subject. What does quality mean? Is your content original? This is an article that was written by a reputable author. It was written on a reputable website, and then this other guy just 100% scraped it and put it on his own website. And he'll probably get some traffic to it within his own circles, but this is never going to get ranked. Is your content creative? I was doing a search for visits to New Zealand, and I came across this website. And this website has everything I need to know, right? I can find accommodations, I can find attractions and tours, and then I can look and read through this travel guide. I can look at all the different areas of New Zealand. It's very informative and helpful if I'm planning a trip. But this is the website where I'm going to spend all of my time. It's the same information, it's presented in a different way. It's more creative, it's more visually stimulating. Right off the bat, I see 4 different activities here, but this is where I'm going to want to spend my time. This website is somewhere around number 40 in Google search, and this is your number 1 search result. Is your website engaging? And what does that mean? What are people doing when they get to your website? Are they interacting with videos? Are they interacting with images? Are they using your navigation the way that you would expect them to? All of those things are part of what make a website engaging. So Snowbird is a ski resort in Utah. This website is so much fun to interact with. There's just a lot going on, but it's also very clear what the website is about. They've got these really great images. Obviously, there's some kind of Oktoberfest going on. I can buy season passes now. All of this information is very engaging. It makes me want to stay here, and it makes me want to interact with this. Now this is another ski resort in the same town, and this is their website. So first of all, the image is probably a moose, but I'm not really sure. They have this block of text over here that I really can't read, so it's not doing anything for me. They have this annoying ticker when, these tickers went out of style 10 years ago. They have this thing that says, we'll start reporting the weather in November. There's nothing about this site that makes me want to stay here. There's nothing engaging. So catering to different audiences. What do I mean by different audiences? People who surf the web surf in a lot of different ways. You have your whole page readers. They're going to read every single word on the page from top to bottom. You have skimmers who are only going to look at bullet points and headers. You have visual people who are just going to look at the pictures. They're going to rely 100% on the pictures to decide what that page is about. You have to cater to all 3 types of people so that you can get the most reaction, the most interaction with your website. A website that does consistently well with this is Amazon. This is a product page for this blender. And first of all, the visual is very appealing. This is a blender that I might want to buy simply because, it has colorful fruit in it. Also, there's this bulleted list of fast facts that I might want to know. The things that I really am interested in really stand out, like I know that it's in stock, I know that I save with Prime, I know what the rating is and how many people contributed to that rating. This is all really useful information and it's really easy to find on the page. Now if we look at the same page in Overstock, it's kind of drab. This is the same product, but it's not as appealing. There's no color in it, there's no bulleted list. You know, like if I want to find out information, I have to read this long run-off sentence. You know, there's nothing that's really very appealing for this product. On that same page, if we scroll down in Amazon, again, more visuals, and then you have more information that's separated with headers. So if I'm skimming the page, I can find exactly what it is that I'm looking for. And there's more information here depending on what it is that I want to know about this product. And again, if we scroll down in Overstock, they finally give me a bulleted list, but there's no imagery here, there's nothing keeping me hooked. And if I want to find out information, I have to click through different tabs. I mean, it's kind of cumbersome and it's not an easy shopping experience. Another thing you want to do, another thing that you try to do with your quality content is moving your users to different pages. Again, we're going to go back to Amazon. Underneath that image of the product you're looking at, there's this, you know, people buy these items together. Customers who bought this also bought this. These are great ways to move users onto different pages of your website. And even if you're not doing e-commerce, you know, you can still use this kind of thinking, this kind of tactic to move people through your site. If somebody's looking at a page of content and you know it relates to another page, then move them to that page. Keep them interested. Keep them wanting to learn more. SEO myth, keyword density will get my page to rank. You know, I've heard a lot of people say, if I have 1,000 words of text, how many times does my keyword have to appear? It doesn't matter. There is no relationship between the keyword density on the page and how well your page ranks. So we just spent a lot of time talking about your website and those direct signals that you send to search engines. Now we're going to talk about everything on the internet that actually can affect those direct signals. So these things can have a direct or an indirect effect on your SEO. The nature of the internet is that people sort of dance around and they look at a lot of different things before they make any decisions. And so you have to take that into consideration when you're thinking about how that influences your SEO. And we're going to talk about a lot of different things and how those things directly or indirectly affect your SEO efforts. Now that we're done with the core, we're going to focus on this outer influence of the internet and how it can affect your SEO. Starting with your link profile. Link building isn't a thing anymore. If you hear somebody talk about link building, chances are they're not doing it right. It used to be that you could give people a bunch of money and they would go and they would build links all over the internet, and that would be like a signal to Google that a lot of people are linking to your site, so you must have good content. But it's just not true anymore, and you can't get away with it. And in fact, if you try it, Google will penalize you for it. Your links have to be earned. And how do you earn links? You create content that people want to link to. It's as simple as that. You have to know where the links to your website are coming from. If you build a bunch of subdomains and point a bunch of links to your website, it's not going to do you any good. Or if a bunch of links to your website are coming from websites that have no authority or that in fact have bad authority on the internet, then that doesn't look good either. Where your links come from is a way to establish trust and authority and start to build out that wider reach on the internet. If we look at Amazon versus Overstock, and this is their link profile. On the left, you can see Amazon wins in every category, but you have to think about, you know, how many domains are linking to you? How many links are on those domains? How many links are actually followed? How many of those links actually pass equity? All of these things are things that are considered when you're looking at your link profile. And even though there's no direct correlation, you have to know what kind of stuff is being shared in social media. That doesn't directly affect your SEO, but it's important to know because there are ways in which you can use that to your advantage. So the Google Penguin algorithm actually gives penalties to websites with poor link profiles. And that goes both ways. You can either have a bad incoming link profile, or you can be a site that gives out a bunch of bad links, which is also a bad thing, and you can be penalized for that. This was a guest blogging website that took a hit from Penguin. And you can see their visits per day went from 9,000 down to about 1,000, pretty much overnight. And they were alerted by Google, and so they were given the chance to fix their mistakes. And it took them a good month to do it, but they were able to start getting ranked again in Google. Another SEO myth, any link is a good link. That's not true. You have to know where your links are coming from, and you have to get rid of the bad ones.